Hello. In this session, we are going to discuss how to get travel report. So, based on the objects that are added in software, if you want to monitor the total distance that is traveled by the particular object, that information and analytics reports are available into the travel report. So, this travel report information is available into report, in activity, and in travel. So, here we are onto the overview screen, that is the summary report of the travel record. That is the information that will be appear on a travel summary, that is will be defined based on the date selections of the particular object, and accordingly how much distance have been traveled by an object, that information will get reflected. So let's try to understand this report, that is the information that is based on the selections of a date and a time filter. The report of the travel report will be appeared with us which object has been driven by which driver. Accordingly, it is in which company and a branch with its IMEI number, and from where the locations of the start was appeared. That is when the vehicle have start traveling. Accordingly, how much distance have been traveled by this object for the specified date and time. Accordingly, for how much running distance was been traveled by the object, that information will be appeared. Based on that, how much idling was done in that duration, that will information will be appeared in a hours and a minute format. Accordingly, what was the stoppage time that was been done by the object, that information will be reflected. And whether the inactive information will be reflected as well, that is if the object went for a inactive, then that information with the duration available on the inactive parameter. Now, according to this parameter, there are other parameters, that is how much max stoppage that was done. That information will be reflected in a travel report. Accordingly, how many numbers of the idling was done, how many times, that information will be reflected. What was the average speed driven by the driver for that particular distance, that information will be reflected. What was the maximum speed was been traveled at a time, that is information will be reflected. Accordingly, in the case if there was any overspeeding done, then that count of will appear onto the list. The total number of overspeeding will reflect it. Now, apart from that, in the case if there are alert generated, then the total count of the alert will appear with its type of the alert that are generated. That is, how many alerts were generated, that multiple types with its count will get reflected over here in the alert parameter. Also with its end location. Now, based on the summary records with these filters that are selected, that is for which company in a branch the object have been selected. Yet, based on the company and a branch can be selected as per your convenience. That is to view this report. That is company, branch, vehicle group, type, brand, and a model, and according date and the object that you want to view the report for. Now, based on the summary record, if you want to view the records for daily basis, that is as we have generated the reports for last 7 days. So now, apart from that, if you will want to view the date-wise report, then it is available in Travel Daily Report. So let's check that information. So when you double click the record, the informations of a travel daily summary will get appear. That is on which date, how much distance have been traveled. That information will be reflected in a travel daily summary. So this report will give the information, that is which object name and a number with its IMEI number, and also the from date and to date time accordingly will get appeared. And based on the information, that is on which particular date, how or at what time the ignition was got on with its start location point information with the address. Accordingly, how much distance was been traveled for that particular date, that information will reflected. Accordingly, how much running time durations with its idling and a stop and inactive information will reflected for that particular date traveled record. Now, apart from that, based on that, how much average speed was been driven by the driver, that information will be reflected. Based on that, whether there was any max speed that was detected, that information will be reflected in a max parameters column. Based on that, if there are any alerts that were generated, alert type of alert that was generated, that will be information will be reflected in the alert hover. When you hover the mouse, then the type of the alert will get appeared. Accordingly, what was the start odometer and end odometer information will be reflected with the last ignition off information and the end location information. Now, based on the running and idle and stop information and inactive information, based on that, in the case if you want to view the history information, which will give you the record information of on when the object was started running or stop or idling activity, that is available in history record. So when you click on the history, the report informations will get appeared with its actual status location. That is, what was the status of what time. Accordingly, what is the locations of that particular status, and based on that, the average information, max information, last distance that was traveled, distance that was available, and accordingly duration information will be reflected. Running idle and a stop information will be reflected as well, and also the alert that is generated will be reflected over here. And when you hover the mouse, the type of alert will get appeared that was generated at that time. Now accordingly, based on that point, if you want to view on the map, that information is available as well. When you click on a show on map, the exact location where the event was being generated, that information will be reflected with its address information. Now, apart from this travel report, the playback of a can be reflected as well. That is, for the particular date, you can view the playback as well. That is, onto the summary record, the information based on the filter that is selected for a date and time, for that period of a playback will be appeared. And likewise, into the daily summary report, based on the date wise, the playback will get appeared. Now, apart from the travel summary as well as travel daily summary information, in the case if you want to view the detailed information of the travel, that is based on the time parameters, that is at what time, what exactly the information was, that information is available as well. So when you double click this daily record, the travel detailed report will get appear. That is, the daily travel detail report will give the information with its vehicle number, with the date, and what exactly the time data that been updated, with its ignition information, whether it was on or off. Accordingly, what was the battery percentage it is available, and that information will be reflected. Also, based on the location information can be reflected, that is where exactly the locations of the data was being appeared at that time. Accordingly, what was the speed that was detected? What is the last distance that meter that has been covered by the object? Accordingly, what was the distance? That information will be reflected with its latitude and coordinate information. And how many number of satellites have been connected? That information will be reflected. Now, based on the point, in the case if you want to view it onto the map, then when you click on the show on map, the point where exactly the location that has been appeared, that information will be reflected. That is at the location where the point of that particular data have been received, that information will be reflected onto the map. So based on that, with its address information, you can find the information where exactly the points are available. Now, based on this travel information, in the case for that particular location, in the case if you want to add the addresses or a geofence, that is possible as well. So from this travel record detail information point, you can also create an address and a geofence for the locations as well. So this is how the travel records with its detail and daily informations are available into record. Thank you.